when you first come back, there's a process we have called R&R, rest and recuperation. And during that R&R, it's a fixed number of days per deployed days. So for example, if you were deployed for 30 days, you would come back and have 7 days of R&R. I'm just giving you that as an example, right? 1 week to 1 month for ease of understanding. So if you're deployed for 6 months, you're coming back to 6 weeks of R&R. And then when you start that R&R period, there's an element where they front load true medical exams, medical treatments, pharmaceuticals to aid in whatever might be needed, right? Whether it's penicillin to get past infections or bacterias or any kind of IV based supplement, something to boost your vitamin D or your vitamin C. That's how we always start, with a lot of time in bed and a lot of time basically with some sort of what we call the Office of Medical Services, OMS, with some sort of doctor leading our initial assessment of what our health status is on return. And then as the weeks progress, we get less time in let's say a medical scenario, and we get more time with the nutritionist. And then we get less time with the nutritionist and more time with the gym, and less time with the gym and more time in an academic scenario prepping for our next operation. And it's kind of like a pendulum or a sliding scale, where as we regain our health during that R&R period, we're getting ourselves back to a status where we're preparing for the next operation.
Man, that is involved. Were there any elements of the R&R component that for you, now I'm assuming that being X, you're not going on a lot of these operations anymore, or any of them, but based on the R&R principles used that you experienced, so there's certain things that have stuck with you now that you say, hey, I'm beat up. I know this worked really well, whether it's, I don't know, hyperbaric chamber or infrared light or some supplement or medication or anything like that?
Yeah, actually there are. So L-theanine is a supplement that has become kind of ever present in our house. It's a leveler for any kind of anxiety or stress. CBD oil was not something that we used at the agency, but it was something that had a very similar effect to some of the anti-anxietals that we were given when we were at the agency. And then it's funny as this is, one of the core things that we were fed was an electrolyte that was mixed with water. So instead of drinking just straight water, we would drink this mix of 50-50 of a sugar-based electrolyte that was watered down. And that would become kind of our go-to drink, kind of like you would go to drink water. It's essentially Gatorade, but of a higher quality. So even now in our household, anytime anybody gets sick, anytime anybody feels down, we immediately start splitting a standard Gatorade 50-50 with water, and that becomes our go-to drink because it gives you calories and salts or electrolytes and hydration all kind of simultaneously.